Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another Forza Horizon 5 video here on the channel now. It's the first one in a little while and the first one of 2023. And we're going to start by going straight to Mexico because we don't want to be in Hot Wheels Park today. There will be a few more Hot Wheels videos coming out in the nearish future. But for now, we're going to do something that I said I was going to do on the channel, but I haven't gotten around to doing yet. And that is that we are going to start working our way through the Forza Hot Wheels stories. Not Hot Wheels stories, just the Forza Horizon stories, should I say. And all in all, there's quite a few of them to get through. So if we look at the accolades, now I have already done some of these on the channel, so I've done Drift Club, Made in Mexico, Donut Media, and Horizon Origins. I've already done all four of those because of the fact that they were to do with the playlist for certain series. So we've done those four. But that does still leave that we've got to do V10, Born Fast, Lucha de Carreteras, Test Driver, Vucho, and El Camino. So we're going to start today, as I'm sure you've probably seen from the name of the video, we are going to start with the El Camino Horizon story. And that is just north of the Horizon Festival. So we're going to go over here and we're going to start off with the first chapter. We are going to do all of them. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So chapter 1, the only thing better than a photo is a photo that you take. And we're doing it in a storm.
Oh, you're the driver everyone talks about. Haley's asked for pictures of all the cars at
so
the
this
festival.
Is about
It's
Horizon
called Horizon
Promo.
Promo.
Okay.
And obviously,
That's
we want
something
action
we can
shots,
do.
fast ones.
I can do fast. Let's go.
For Horizon Promo, you just need to take a picture of your car, but it'll look better with a little drama. Let's head into the
So we're going to
storm
head
and
deep
find
into the
the perfect
sandstorm and just take a
location.
photo of ourselves in this nice Jeep.
Okay, there's the turnoff. Some people believe mysterious things happen in storms like these. There's even a story of an explorer who got lost in a storm and only found her way out when she found a huge statue near the coast. It's just a legend, of course, but want to see if we can find it?
This is a very nice
Any
car.
excuse to drive this
I believe it's one of the
through
newer
heart
Jeeps, so I'm going to check actually. It is the Gladiator Rubicon. Okay, so I was right in saying it's one of the newer Jeeps. I did not mean to do that. We're going to rewind that one. That was not meant to happen. There's just rocks everywhere. It was actually already saved as the road. Or the path marks at least. Not that it is a road, it's just a sort of valley, but... So we're heading towards the statue and we're going to
Over
get a
there,
photo
do you see it in the sand?
of us in this Jeep, deep in the storm with the statue. All in all, that seems like a fairly easy thing to do. But it seems that she wants us to actually save the photo for some reason. I don't quite know what they're asking me to do here. I don't want to save the photo, just let me continue. Oh, there we go. Now it's letting me do it.
Uy, this is increíble. The photos look great. But there aren't supposed to be any statues like that near here.
Perhaps it was uncovered by the storm.
That must be it. Okay, I'll get these photos to Haley. We should go treasure hunting again soon, eh?
So that was a
I'll call
very
you.
easy 3-star. So we should just sort of drive into the storm, take a photo. I hope they're all that easy. I have a feeling they will be as well.
Hey, amigo.
So she
I
wants
found
us to drop
something.
by.
Drop by when you can.
So we're gonna head straight on up to go and do El Camino Chapter 2, which is El Camino de Sydney Wolverstone. El Camino de Sydney Wolverstone is an adventure story charting an explorer's journey through Mexico in the 18th century. It's Carmen's favourite book, but the stories about peculiar statues can't be real, right? Well, I would assume they probably are real, seeing as we just found one in Chapter 1. So.
Hola, hola. Remember the old book I told you about? I went and dug it out of a box at my padre's place. I want to try and find something.
And you need a driver.
And I need a driver. Yeah, bien. Head for
Right.
Las Barrancas. I'll explain on the way.
So, what are we looking for?
My favorite book is called El Camino de Sydney Wolverstone, about an explorer who traveled Mexico 200 years ago. In her book, she describes these Atlantis she found, giant statues. But there aren't supposed to be any of those near here.
Giant statues? From an old book?
That aren't supposed to exist, yes. I've been piecing together clues from the book. Do you think you can get this car right into the river at the bottom of the Copper Canyon?
So there's a
really
statue
don't know
in the
me very
canyon
well.
that we've got to take a photo of by the looks of it. If we look at the El Camino stories, then taking the photos is pretty simple to do by the looks of it. Discover and photograph the statue in the canyon. Yeah, they're just taking photos of these little statues and stuff. Getting 3 stars as well. Obviously, if we don't get 3 stars in the video, then I can always come back and do them at some other point. We're going to go for the rest of the off-road here, in the hopes it saves a little bit of time. It's off-roading like that you need to do if you want the 3 stars on a lot of these chapters. So. Taking off-road shortcuts like this one here is sort of the way that you need to go if you want to 3-star some of these story chapters. However, I apparently can't go over this bump without hitting that tree, so I need to redo that a little bit. As long as you navigate yourself correctly, you should be fine heading through off-road little tracks like that.
The Copper Canyon is a wonder of Mexico. There used to be 6 separate rivers which came together to create the landscape that we're seeing now. 4 times larger than the Grand Canyon, covering 25,000 square miles. Oh, and the green color in the rock is why I got that name, copper.
It's nice to learn a little bit about the Copper Canyon actually. And it looks like they're actually going to make me do a search for the thing itself.
A ver, let's get pictures here. In the book, Lady Sydney's expedition makes camp here, but that's just a fun story.
Let's see if we can see any statues. So if we look around, you should be able to see the statue in the water.
That is increíble.
So
How
all you
has
need to do
no
is
one
just
ever
take a
found this
photo
before?
of the area by the looks of it. I don't even think you needed to photograph the actual statue itself. The statue seems to be the bonus reward. But
Hey, amigo. According to the book, there is a statue at El Arco de Cabo San Lucas. Wolverstone said she
so
found
there's
it at
2 more
sunset,
to
but
go and do.
I thought we could try an experiment. I've worked out where the book says the statue should be. We can set out and reach the area around mid-morning and see what we can find. Or the other option is we get to El Arco just as the sun sets. If you believe the story, that's when we'll find the statue.
So it does look like you can play both of them, but you've got 2 options here, which is the statue at sunset or the statue at noon. So you can sort of go at 2 different points by the looks of it. I will obviously play both, but we'll start with the sunset one, I think. Just because it's option number 1. We just got to make sure we enter the El Camino story, not street race, that is also here. So, El Camino, Chapter 3, the statue at sunset. Look for the statue at sunset. We met our resupply as expected with our ship anchored near a mighty stone arc. In the light of the setting sun I beheld it, a great statue of the same design as we have found in several different places, clear as my hand before my face, and yet earlier the same day I was sure I had not seen it. El Camino de Sydney Wolverstone, Chapter 1. And 3 stars is 2 minutes 10, so you've got to be quite quick to find whatever this one is.
Alright, let's get going.
We get
The
to use
sun's
a
setting, but we
Toyota
have
Land
enough time
Cruiser
to
this
get there
time.
along the beach. I'm excited. Do you think we'll find it?
To be honest, I don't know. But I'm getting the sense that there's more to Mexico than meets the eye.
2 minutes 10 to go 4 miles. Makes me think we're going to have to do some off-roading here. Over the deserted area as well. But off-roading through Lagunas Blancas in a car like this shouldn't be too hard.
Did you know Sydney Wolverstone was also a, ay, ¿cómo se dice? What's the word? A botanista? A botanist, a natural historian, and a pretty decent artista. You want to talk about las maravillas de Mexico? Just
So in other
read
words, we're
about
going
her
to
life.
sort of try and plough this one in a straight line as best we can. Biggest issue is going to be that big hill we can see up ahead, the big massive sand dune. That one we might have to go around, but fingers crossed we could go straight up and over.
The book describes several sites where Sydney Wolverstone found statues. She believed they weren't Aztec though, which is interesting because they look Toltec to me. But even that isn't really clear. We know so little about the Toltecs, about the whole pre-conquest era, in fact. There are so many undiscovered sites, so much forgotten history in Mexico, so many things we don't know about the people who've lived here for
We're on
thousands
track
of
to
years.
hopefully get there if we can pick up a little bit more speed going round the headland. And as I say, I do believe that just taking the photo is fine. However, it would be nice to get the bonuses from the statue. I believe the statue is likely to be on the other side of the cliff. And so in order to really get that photo, you'd need to come at a slightly different angle. So I'm going to just rewind, see if we can get around there, but I don't think we'll quite get around there in time, is the issue. Let's see if we can try and see the statue through the arch. The statue seems to be under the arch. And it seems that you don't need to have the car in the photo either.
Interesting. The design doesn't seem entirely Aztec, but it does remind me of Tlaloc, the rain god. This is amazing. I'll
Oh, I
work
stand
out where
corrected.
the
It's
next one
actually
should be
deep
and
in
give you a
the,
call.
Where does the trail lead from
Deep
here?
in the
South and
rock
inland.
face.
I'm sure
It's
of it.
interesting.
I'll be in touch. There it is, right in the sun where the book said. Grab a picture of
And I
it.
believe we got 3 stars on that one.
Turn around when it is. Hola, amigo. I've been reading the diary over and over. I think Lady Sydney's expedition came inland, but
So I just wanted to state as
it's
well
hard to find the evidence.
that I would have done chapter 4 on here, and it seems I was slightly too slow for chapter 3. But chapter 4 I would normally do, but I will leave that one. It's the same as chapter 3, but going from a slightly different angle, and it's going at a different time of day, and as you can see, you've got to get there a little bit quicker because you do start a little bit closer. But we're going to start straight up with chapter 5 now. Mula Hay. After our landing, we followed the river upstream where we found Pleasant Valley in the shadow of the mountains. We made camp here and I met a local wise woman who told me many stories recorded in this book. On her advice, on the southern shore of the river and amongst the trees I found another statue, still wet with the recent rains. El Camino de Sydney Wolverstone, chapter 2. So it seems that we're just going through this book following El Camino de Sydney Wolverstone, trying to find these statues.
Okay, mira,
So-
escucha. Listen to this. El pueblo de Mulegé, un oasis tranquilo. If she made it to Mulegé, the expedition must have traveled upriver. I still can't believe this. I used to take the book to mi escuela and my teachers told me Lady Wolverstone's adventures were as fictional as Pedro Páramo or Sherlock Holmes.
So
Right, we're going to try and take a bit of an express route again.
she never got any credit.
Never asked for any. She said she was writing stories for her grandchildren. But if they're true, her story deserves to be told. And you and I can prove it. Vamos, to Mulegé. Let's go. We can start in the center of town and move outwards.
Right. You've definitely got to off-road this one. A minute 32 for 3 stars. You've got to go quick. Like, they are expecting you to not follow roads if they want you to get this one done. Now the question just remains on where this statue actually is. My concern is that we definitely wouldn't reach it in time. And so therefore The likely answer is that I will just take a photo of the car in the area. I think finding the actual statue itself is really hard to do. Like, you either get 3 stars on this or you get the statue. You can't really get both. It's incredibly hard to try and find them, especially when you've got to go quick. But fingers crossed they still count them.
Lady Sydney writes that a local bruja, a wise woman, said the statues were only visible on certain days in the rain because they are statues of Tlaloc.
I still think it's the trees hiding in. But call me when you work out the next location, okay?
You never know. Well, there could be something mystical going on. Who are we to assume?
Hola, amigo. Haley called to ask about the promo shots, but when I told her about the diary, she said they could wait. Come pick me up. We need to go to Agua Azul.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'll be right over.
So we now have chapter 6, which is Cascadas. The most beautiful sky blue waterfalls blocked our further navigation. We made a camp here and laid up goodly supplies, for I intended to set out overland in search of further wonders. On a whim, I set out to explore the waterfall. I've always been a strong swimmer, so it's simple to get behind the cascade, and what I saw there caused the breath to catch in my throat. El Camino to Sydney Wolverstone, chapter 3. And this one, 3 stars, 2 minutes, so got to be quite quick. And again, it's going to be off-road. The difference between 1 star being 5 minutes and 3 stars being 2 minutes, you've got to go quick. And we're doing it in a little Lumicraft buggy as well.
I'll keep the windows closed.
Okay, a ver. Okay.
You know what?
Let me translate this part.
I'm going to restart.
Cool waters
and
of
I'm going
out.
to try and go a different way. There's not even a way that you could off-road this, really.
Quenched our thirst and inspired our hearts. In the heart of the blue water is where we found them.
Them? Are we looking for more than one statue, mate? And in the heart of the blue water? What does that mean, Alan?
So the question is, why was the diary of Lady Sydney Wolverstone published as fiction? She was really here. She really had aventuras all over Mexico.
Maybe she didn't want to be famous.
Or maybe she didn't think anybody would believe her. Muy bien. Keep heading west. Muy bien, ahí estás. We'll turn off the road near the waterfalls.
That's funny. We'll turn off the road near the waterfalls. Yeah, no. Screw that. I want to get there quick. It doesn't help us all the logs on the floor keep slowing us down. We are nearing the spot where they should be, and they do have a little bit of time, so I might actually see if I can find them. It would not surprise me if they're behind the water. They are indeed behind the water. I had a feeling they were, based on the wording from the book itself. It said behind the blue, like climbing behind the blue falls, so.
Oh, the pictures are good. And you
Carmen
know
seems to be
having
quite
pictures
excited by
means
these
no
statues, I
one
must
can
say.
doubt us if we can find the statues again.
Oy, oy, oy. This is big. I have our next lead. Meet me as soon as you can.
So as you can see as well, for the photographs, it does seem that you actually do need to get the statues in photo, but we just did that, so I'm not quite sure how that one's working, actually taking photos of the statues. But we do have 3 more chapters to complete, so let's get to it. With chapter 7, the Valle de las Ranas. So, El Camino, chapter 7, Valle de las Ranas. Never have I seen such rocks and formations as these. We made camp in a sheltered place, and I will confess that the arrival of a great storm filled me with anticipation, for I had heard stories of another statue here. Scarce had dawn broken, but I set out to search for it, and after scrambling amongst the rocks north of the track, I found it. El Camino de Sydney Wolverstone, chapter 4, and this time got a little bit longer. 5 minutes still for 1 star, but only 2.5 minutes for 3 stars. So basically what they are probably insinuating by that is it's a little bit harder to go off-road on this one.
She made pencil
Which
sketches of
makes sense
formations
because
that I
Valle de
recognize
las
in the Valle
Ranas
de las
is
Ranas,
a
and she
little bit
sketched
of a
one of the
more
statues.
rocky area.
Lead the way.
And we are literally using the B-Class Bronco, which is what I used to drive over here. So that's
Okay,
intriguing.
okay.
Maybe that's why they've given us a bit more time then.
So, they have a fantastic creatures carved in rock, and she found the statue early one morning, and get this, it was after a rainstorm.
And this is another statue of Tlaloc. That is interesting. Let's see if we can find it.
El Valle is east of Guanajuato. Mira, let's go. Valle de las Ranas means Valley of the Frogs, so I always thought the stones looked more like fantastical creatures. And Lady Sydney did too. She got sketches in her book. Mira, imagínatelo, imagine it. Explorers like Lady Sydney came all this way with nothing but ganas y un gran amor for the wilds of Mexico.
She sounds like someone I know.
Yeah, yo? I shoot cars for the festival. You do all the work. And my ride is a lot faster than her wagons, no?
We have slightly more than 1 horsepower.
Bueno, I suppose reading El Diario is one of the reasons I became una
I've
fotógrafa.
got to admit, this one's
I wanted
quite
to
easy to
capture the
try.
same belleza she
Like, you
did.
can very, very simply go in straight line, as I've just shown. 3-starring this one isn't hard to do. The question is where actually is the statue on this one? They're kind of hard to tell what actually is the statue in. No, it's not at all. I can see that hidden over there.
Hey, Carmen. I think there's a shot right here.
So if you then get a photograph of the car with the actual statue, the statues are quite big, so actually I'm kind of amazed how I've missed them in previous ones, but
Today, the Valle de las Ranas is one of the most visited natural wonders in Mexico. Lady Sydney definitely knew a marvel when she saw one.
But the guidebooks don't say
Nothing
anything about a
big,
Tlaloc statue here.
okay, we can do that.
I have
when we
it!
can.
No, perdón, no hay tiempo para explicar. Just come and meet me.
So we're going to do chapter 8 then, the penultimate chapter. So, El Camino chapter 8, Ekbalam. On the advice of a local farmer, we travelled into the jungles to find a great city. It was perhaps a score of great stone buildings arranged around a central complex. I found 3 stone giants of the style of Kumtano, 2 in the complex proper, and a third to the south, hard to discern amongst the trees. It was only by passing through the southernmost building that we found it. El Camino, to Sydney Wolverstone, chapter 5. Okay, so it sounds like there's 3 to find in this one. 2 of them actually within like the temple, and 1 down in the trees. So, again,
Mira, I cross-referenced the
we
final
have to head
pages of
over
the
there
book with
pretty
all
quickly.
the other papers I could find, and it's Ekbalam. It has to be. Lady Sydney Wolverstone's expedition headed south to Ekbalam. Ekbalam was only properly studied in the 90s, but we know very little about it, actually. In fact, researchers are divided on exactly how much of what we know about the Toltecs is historical and how much is Aztec legend.
So why are we going to Ekbalam and not Tula?
Wolverstone's book doesn't call it Ekbalam, of course, but she describes a large group of buildings, perhaps 20 or more, and a large oval palace. And listen to this, 3 large statues of the sort I have found in other places.
3? I'm pretty sure I only saw 2.
No, that's not all. She also wrote, the 3rd largest of them in the same stone I have come to recognize lay to the south of the complex, only barely visible in the driving rain.
right.
Well, let's get there before the rain stops then.
I'm not going to argue with that, and I've got to admit this car is very nice. Good old-fashioned Lamborghini LM. You do not see many of those. So as I demonstrated in the last one as well, folks, you can effectively use the camera mode to pause the timer, because then you can look around and find the statue without using up your precious time, of which you don't really get much. But this one's quite easy to see, to be honest. Like, you actually see it as you come out of the temple, as I've just literally shown, like, it's directly in front of us, so that one's quite a hard one to miss, to be honest. But some of them have actually been quite challenging to spot.
It's been fun, though I do feel like there should have been treasure at the end of it.
Bueno, maybe.
The treasure was the friends we made along the way.
Aha, you said that, not me.
So that's that.
There's one more thing. According to the book, Wolverstone took a jade statue from the site, but
jade
lost it in a
statue.
flash flood.
That would be
I'll try
worth
and
a
work
lot
out
of
where
money, I
that
must
was.
admit.
I'll call you as soon as I know.
Now we're
Jade
intrigued.
is very
Call
expensive.
me, yeah?
And an ancient jade statue, it'd be priceless. But
Ay, ay, ay. Hi there, Hall of Famer, eh? Woo! No time to explain. Vente ya. Come.
by the
meet
sounds
me.
of it, you have to be in the Hall of Fame
Thanks, Carmen.
to do this
Is
last
this
one.
about the book?
And we've just got ourselves a nice
100
wheel spin
yards.
from doing these as well. So if we head to the accolades, and I'm just going to quickly have a little look at how we're doing. So it did count the last photo that we just took. So we've now got to go and photograph the relic in the final chapter. And there is also a separate accolade for 3-starring the final chapter, which is most curious. So let's go straight there and do the final chapter of El Camino. So chapter 9, the Temple of Quechula. I think that's how you pronounce it. I probably butchered that name. It was on our journey back that disaster overtook us, a sudden flood carrying away several wagons and the smaller statue we took from the City of the Giants. Fortunately, people from the nearby farms came to our aid, and whilst the statue was lost, in truth, I'm not greatly concerned. I think we'll make for Guanajuato, and I will spend some time writing the history of this journey. El Camino de Sydney Wolverstone, Chapter 6. And we've got a minute 40 to 3-star this one, so I think maybe that's why it's got its own separate accolade, because that is quite a short amount of time. But we do get to drive the Ford Velociraptor for this, so that's always
there
fun.
you are. So I worked it out. Remember that flash flood? She was near an abandoned church along a river. And that has to be the Temple of Quechula. Ándale, vámonos.
The
Drive.
Temple of Quechula. I know where they're on about now.
Claro. Head for the temple at Quechula.
So,
Lady
yeah,
Sydney
it's
has
the
one
one
more
that's
marvel
partially
to show us,
flooded.
and
Is
you're
where you
gonna
gotta
show
drive
me how a
towards.
hall.
So, I honestly don't know what's the best route out of here to do that.
A famer
It might
drive.
actually be the route that they've said this time, unfortunately.
No?
Wasn't the temple at Quechula flooded? I didn't bring my snorkel.
Ay, qué chistoso. Quechula is located on a floodplain, but after a long dry season,
The temple is accessible. I take it back, let's go.
So it automatically changes us to the dry season for this chapter, because obviously you cannot access the temple otherwise. That's cool.
we need to get down into that presa. See it?
Doing this at 3 stars is hard, actually, I must say.
Y coming up on the church. Oye, qué rápido! This church is 500 years old. It was built in the hopes that it would become the center of an
Right,
important
let's
city,
switch
but
to
never
photo
did.
mode, so we can try and find ourselves this statue. Or should I say the relic? There's a little jade statue, supposedly. So I wonder where that would be. This one could be quite tough to see, I reckon. could literally be anywhere here. I don't know how you would see this one, to be honest with you. Ah. I have found it. But it is on the other side of the church, so you gotta go to the far side if you want this photo.
In 1966...
So, I know I've not shown all of the photo locations in this video, but I have shown most of them. So hopefully you know roughly how you're going to go about doing it now. Use your camera mode to scout the area without using it any time, so that way you can find the statue and get both accolades at the same time.
Belongs in a museum.
I agree. But you know it won't be visible unless you go see it at exactly the right time.
You don't believe that, right?
I don't know what I believe, Carmen. Who knows? But folks, with that in mind, guys, that was the El Camino story in Forza Horizon 5. I will obviously do the other stories over the next couple of weeks. But I hope you found this video informative, enjoyable and fun to watch, and I hope it helped you guys find those statues. But with that all in mind, guys, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you all in the next one.